Hey, good afternoon. It's after 4 o'clock here in the central part of the United States, and it's cold outside. It's been cold here for quite some time. There's a little bit of snow out there on one of my outbuildings, but I've been in here for quite some time, and I thought I would catch you up to where this thing is and then run through how I do this. There's so many questions about this thing. People are somewhat confused. When I'm on, I put a picture on Facebook of just one panel, and somebody said, "How big is the panel?" Well, my hand is right there. So this is the 1/5 of all of the glass that it takes to go around this huge lamp. And I'm looking at what I have left here. I put some more glass in today, and what I have left here. And I'm kind of thinking now that I could get this cutting done by the end of the month. At least I believe I can. And I'll be real close. I've got a kind of a system going here that's working for me pretty well. And I'm certainly reluctant to use the word cutting with this. In the early parts of this lamp up in here, I cut all of that stuff with a glass cutter because those pieces are relatively simple. And then you get into like this insanity here. Look at that thing. Well, you're not going to cut that. You could cut this side and this. In here, you start trying to get these scallops out of the edge of this thing, and you're not going to get that. And then you need to cut 5 of them, and then you need to control that color. So I'll show you how I'm doing all that stuff, and let's put that back where it goes. And do I have it upside down? No. Anyway, that's one, and then there was another weird one here, or one I'm about to do. Yeah, look at this thing. All right, so the way I do this is I have my master drawing here, and I've divided the whole section. There's 5 of these sections. You got to do this 5 times to go around this. I did have a book up here. It is to go around that lamp. That's what we're building right there. So you do, each piece is cut 5 times. And I'm controlling the color based on where it sits here, what I'm trying to do with it, and the colors and stuff that I'm working with. So I laid out all of these colors went in today. I think there were 90 pieces that I installed today right around here. And what's happening now is that the lamp is starting to transition out of the lavender, the pinkish lavenders here, and we're starting now to head into the blues. As we get further into the bottom of the lamp, the remaining lavenders, purples, and the blues will continue to get a little darker. And so I'm looking at, well, let's see, let's just show you what I'm doing first here. I'll get confused myself. Okay, what I do is I look at this pattern here, and then I decide how many pieces I want to cut out of the actual pattern itself. And this is Mylar, kind of a high-grade plastic, right? Okay, and when you buy this, I don't want to call it a kit. It's a long way from a kit, but when you buy this setup, you get these 2 pieces of paper here, a paper and a Mylar, and you get a form. I showed the form in a previous video or 2. I'm not going to run and get it right now. But anyway, the form is what this lamp is built on to get the right shape. So today I added all of these pieces. There were 90 total that I added, which would be what? 8. Yeah, it was 18 of these pieces. 18 pattern pieces made 90 pieces. And then I'm looking here, and what I was trying to do is level this thing up from this side and this side, because I want to come down this lamp with a similar color theme with my lavender. So I don't want to get all messed up and have a bunch of dark right here, and next to it's a bunch of light. So I'm trying to come down this lamp and get darker as I get to the bottom. lighter at the top. So that's why I've gone back to this side to begin to level it up with this side. And I don't know whether you'll be able to see that or not on here. That's kind of what's going on here. We're in this lighter lavenders here, lighter there, a little bit darker up in there, but coming down, getting things a little bit darker. So I made a decision on which of these pieces to cut out, and I took this 225, 226, anyway, everything across here I pretty well cut out, and I've got it sitting right here, and that's how it's actually setting on the lamp, or setting, whatever. Anyway, and here, these are the pieces here that I have already marked out and scribed on the appropriate pieces of glass. So what that means is none of these have yet to be color picked out or marked on the glass. So let's just take for instance, this 134. I wanted 134, which is right there, and which is, don't get lost, right there. I wanted that 134 to begin this transition to blue, because this line that you see right here is going to disappear, because this, I'm going to get where you can see here, this part of this lamp goes together right there like that. So I wanted this to be blue. So I came over here and I'm looking at, and I wanted it a little bit lighter blue. Now, I'm looking at this thing and it looks a little different than it does through this camera, but it's going to work. Anyway, so I wanted to come over on this part of this sheet and get this lighter blue. So all I did was take, let me get this, take this piece of pattern paper there, and I go around it. There are other ways to do this. There are people that use grease pencils and everything else to get this done. This is just the way I'm doing it. And I always put this disclaimer on my work when I'm telling somebody how I'm doing something. My way is not the best way. It's currently the best way for me. So if other people are doing this, fantastic. And I'm sure I get some advice here and there. Some of it I actually listen to, or I listen to all of it, and some of it I actually take. Anyway, here's the 5 that I'm looking for, and I'm interested in that color setup right there, that light color. So I mark them with this felt tip, Papermate Flare felt tip first. Okay, and then since, good gracious, I'm like stumbling around here. I've been here all day. All right, then these you could probably cut with a glass cutter. But in order to cut those with a glass cutter, I've got to come down here and carve this part of the sheet out and get around. I could actually cut those. That probably, I might do that. I know I'm not going to. Never mind. I'm going to go ahead and take them out with the ring saw, because I want just that piece in that particular spot. And all that's going to happen here is I'm going to lose this little section here of this sheet. That's it. Now, that's not a big deal. This glass I can buy more of. This glass, on the other hand, is irreplaceable. You cannot buy this glass. It's 25 years old. The company's not in business anymore. So what's happening here is, let's get a different piece here. Let's take a, okay, here's 225. And 225, I know where everything is here. 225 is right there. There. So we have, and I don't know, I think, yeah, you can see this. So I am interested in 225 being more or less this same color theme here. This is going to be the lightest one of the 5 pieces right there. And the rest of the other 5 are up in here where it's darker. So what I did is I laid that piece of glass or pattern paper right on there, went the felt tip over it, and then I take this instrument that I have right here, and there's a little tiny diamond. Let me back this out so you can. There's a little tiny diamond in the end of that, and I come back, and maybe I should just do one here. I'll do a little bit of one. Okay, this is a piece. Let me show you what we're doing. Right here. Okay, these pieces just got marked. So there it sits, see, and I went around it with a felt tip. Now, if I want to be the size of this piece of glass, or I want the glass to be that size, then I'm going to have to come inside of that black line. So I'm going to concentrate on what I'm doing, and I'm hoping you can see it. All right, and now you'd think after this many pieces that my hand would get tired, and I'm an old man too, but I've been doing this stuff so long, I must have a set of muscles in my hand that are just, you know, built up good. Okay, now I'm taking a Sharpie. I'm coming back over that thing, and really basically all you're doing now, I'd clean it off with that. Look at that. Now that's scribed on there real well, and then I can come over to the ring saw, which I'm not going to do right now. Come over to the ring saw, and the water won't wash that Sharpie ink out. Now Scott Riggs, the master lamp builder from California, told me about a Pro Sharpie, and if I could come around this glass with a different marker, and then I did not have to scribe this thing with this diamond tip, then it would eliminate a whole step. So I've got to get one of those markers, and I've actually got what they call a Pro Sharpie, but I'm not sure I can get that line down fine enough. However, if you went around this, if you went around that piece of pattern paper with a fine tip Sharpie that the ink would not wash off, then all I would have to do is saw on the inside of that line. But I'm not right at this point sure about the accuracy of this different Sharpie. So I'm going to check that out. But right now, I get these pieces down real tight. Okay, now when I get I'll mark up all of these tomorrow. It'll take them a pretty good portion of the morning to get these all marked up. Then after these are all marked up and I've done what I just did for you, I put the Sharpie ink on there so that the ring saw doesn't wash this away. Now this is that has already been done here. So see, all of these are ready to go. Let's see what piece is that. That's going to be 136. So there's 136 right there. See how tight that is? That's right on the money. Okay. So I take the pattern, put it on here, mark it, then I scribe it. Then come over here to the ring saw, and I cut them all out as close as I can get with the ring saw. And I'm giving myself a little bit of room. There's just about enough room right here for that ring saw blade to go through here. So you want to get as close as you can to this line with that ring saw, because you're going to have to grind off everything back to that line in order for this piece of glass to be that shape. And so what happens, I'll just briefly show you this. So I come over after I've got them all cut out. I come over here. Let me turn this light on. We're not going to grind anything. We're just going to show you. And I set that piece right there, or the pattern. Then I come in here and I take all 5 pieces and I go around them and I keep testing them back and forth, setting this piece of pattern. That's why Mylar is good, waterproof. So I set that pattern on that piece, and I get that piece that exact size, or as close as I can possibly get it, to include that little flat spot on the bottom. You want all that on there. Okay. When you get that done, then I put all 5 pieces here, and another one, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. I get about 80, 90 pieces that are ready to go, all cleaned up. Then we transfer them over to here. So it's quite a little process and takes a long time. I've been on this thing now. I've been cutting glass for 5 weeks. I think, boy, there's still some serious glass work left here. Let me turn the light off here and see, there you go. I'm kind of thinking that I'm hopefully going to finish by the end of the month with the cutting of the glass. I think I can. I'm on a pretty good system here. By the time I get through with all of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 23, 5. Well, this is over 100 pieces. So these 20-something pieces of pattern here will translate to over 100 pieces of glass. And when I get those done, then this section up in here to include, is that, oh yeah, all across here will be done. Look at the shape, the size of that thing. Look at this. Well, let me find this pattern piece here. Man, there's just nothing easy about that. Most of those cuts on there could be made with a glass cutter, except right there. And now if I only had to cut one of these, well, I'd just jump in here with a glass cutter and probably knock it out. But since you've got to do 5 of them, then, and that's a big piece of glass right there in respect to, you know, what part of a sheet it's going to come out of. And I've got to, I don't even know where that goes now, I'll figure it out. I've got to be able to control this color. That's why it's so important where these lay. Now, I've left myself some lighter area here. Over here is some darker area. I've got more glass. Here's some other portions of the sheet right there. And then when we get into the, back to the blue, I don't want to lose these pieces here. When we get back to the blue, this blue is on this camera. I'm looking through the camera. It's showing up different than it shows up in real light. But I'm kind of liking that dark purpley color there for the bottom as we start to get into the lower sections of this lamp. So anyway, I'm kind of optimistic now that I'm at the end of the month, I'll have this thing covered. And then it should get real interesting because I've still got to come back and fit all these pieces onto the mold and then foil each one at a time. So when we go onto the mold, for instance, it will start up at the top. But when we start taking these pieces to the top of the mold, you'll see that. But that's where I'll adjust them again if they need to be ground. You can't make them bigger, so if something needs to be recut again, which I certainly hope there's not much of that. But anyway, we'll be fitting to the mold. If it looks like it fits the mold, the space well on the mold, then it gets foiled. And then we go back onto the mold, and that's where it'll stay until it's soldered. So there's a long way to go. There's 2,000 pieces of glass here to just foil, which is a lot of work. And I'm using 3/16 foil. For people that are in this business or know anything about it, that's the most narrow of all the foils that we use. And the reason you want to use that narrow foil, and you'll see all this for those that are laymen in respect to this work, you'll see that there's only going to be a 32nd of an inch of foil sitting atop this glass. This glass is 1/8 inch, and so 3/16 means that there's a 32nd on this side and a 32nd on the other side. And that's what we're going to solder. We're going to solder between these two pieces and solder that foil. That's what's going to hold this lamp together. And there's a long way to go here, but it is looking, you know, I'm optimistic, looking a lot better. Here, get a little bit more of the color idea there. Well, I guess that's it. I think the ring saw, I've had some questions about the ring saw. The ring saw, my guess is, I'm actually pretty mechanically inclined and I can fix things. But the ring saw, I've been working on it. Here's some of the mechanical, whoa, don't turn the camera right. There you go. So there's a water bath that sits in here about the water to this bottom wheel, the center of that bottom wheel. And there's a belt here running up through the motor assembly up here. And there's a diamond coated ring, and you can see that ring going back up. And what happens is this belt sticks, you know, it's rubber against this diamond, and it drives that, you can see it, actually going the wrong way. Anyway, it drives that ring around and around and around, and it keeps it cool because of the water. Well, what happens there, you need to change this water regularly because this water quickly picks up the ground up glass, which then becomes an abrasive, and there are bearings and things inside these wheels here. And I haven't had much trouble with them, but I have had trouble with these orange rollers here. And when these orange rollers wear down, then this ring will hop around and shut it down. And then these are moving parts here also. So there's a lot of stuff here that wears out quickly. And I'm thinking that you're going to replace these orange grommets. Somebody will tell me I'm wrong, but from my personal experience, you're going to replace these orange grommets in about 3 to 4 hours of machine operation, which is actually quite a lot. But there's a lot of hours tied up in this thing. And I want to say again for anybody that I think once in a while somebody will take me to task over, well, you should be cutting. Yeah, I know. And I don't think that, man, I can cut glass with anybody. And I'm very seldom ever make egotistical statements, but that one I know. I can cut glass right along with anybody. But this isn't about cutting glass. This thing here is about fitting, taking these ridiculous pieces and shaping them to the point where they're going to fit. Now, I've paid a lot of attention along the way here to how accurate this is. And I've built this lamp before, and I understand that the better job I do in fitting these pieces, in fabricating these pieces, prior to trying to put this together, the better this lamp is going to look and the less effort it's going to take. Because if you just, I don't see any way to shortcut this thing or get this thing done any quicker. If you're going to do, and you're going to take on a project like this is, in my opinion, this is one of the most iconic Tiffany lamps ever made. And so I'm going to pay homage to the fact that there's only 14 of these that are known to exist in the whole world, the originals. And so I'm going to put the time and effort into this thing that it takes to make it as good as I can possibly make it. And so that means that all of these pieces, every single one, is going to be as close as I can possibly get it to this pattern. If every piece of glass that you fabricate was exactly lined up with this pattern, then this thing would look like that. These black lines you see are going to be my solder lines. So I've been real diligent from the very beginning at trying to fabricate this thing to the best of my ability, that the pieces stick so closely to the original pattern. And that's why there's so much effort put into all along here. I don't think you actually can see all these ones, all the ones that I have laid out here. Sometimes they're getting a little bit difficult to see, but there they are. And why I'm here versus here, or over here much darker. So anyway, and why I'm there trying to transition this softer blue in before we, and these are two different glasses here. So this one here is, man, there's some good looking glass along here. So this is going to be some beautiful stuff for the bottom of the window. Now I can't remember. Oh yeah, is that right? Yeah. Hey, that's Ouroboros. And I don't know whether I have the sticker on this one or not. But if that glass might be, I didn't even pay any attention to this. I've got another sheet of it over there, but this glass might be 25, 30 years old, this particular one. So what I'm getting at there is there's an awful lot of glass in this thing right here that you never see anywhere else. Because there's, man, not many people have 30-year-old glass laying in their quiver to use. Well, anyway, that's enough. What is it? It's 4:30 here. I've been out here. Let's see. Yeah, I'm a good 8 hours into this thing right now. But it's going good. Look at this pile of cutoffs here. Isn't that something? My youngest sister does mosaic. And, boy, that would be a treat right there to get. Of course, some of this stuff's just going to be garbage. But, man, there's some cool glass in there for mosaic. And you can see the colors as I started down to the green and then some of the blue and more of the purple. But anyway, that would be a treat there to get some of this stuff. Yeah, look at there. A lot of possibilities there. Anyway, if you have any questions, I've got quite a few people following this particular project. Well, and I don't know. There's other lamp artists that show pieces of their work or parts of their work. But I try to do something a little bit different here and start you up in the very beginning of this thing and take you all the way to the end of it. And this lamp right here, separate the players right here, because you have got to have some serious time to put into something to go after this thing. There's just no fast way to do this. There's no, and I can say this, there's no machine going to come along behind me and knock one of these out, because it's just too much labor. Well, anyway, I'm going to roll out of here. I appreciate all the interest in this stuff. If you have any questions, be sure and ask me. I'm always around. I'm here all day, every day, 7 days a week. What is this, the 6th, 7th, 5th? I don't even know what day it is. Anyway, this started in earnest February 1st. And I've been on it every single day since February 1st. And I plan to stay on it as long as I possibly can here, because I'm going to get this glass cut. My goal now is the end of the month. So we might make it. Thank you. Bye now.